Hello, random viewers, and welcome to the 20th episode of my Kerbal Space Program Let's Play. That's crazy. We've made it to episode 20. Anyways, so I'm going to show you what we've got to do. So we've got to fly by Duna. That's a contract I've accepted. I did a lot of work off camera. I'm just going to say that now. Plan to flag on Minmus. A little bit of Minmus stuff. We will go back to Minmus. In fact, not this episode, but in the next few, we will be building a space station around Minmus to mine ore and turn it into fuel. Well, the mining part won't come till later. We'll just put the space station core and a little bit of habitation there. But that's fine. So yeah. And this episode we're launching a probe that will go to Duna. Okay, and there's a lot of preliminary stuff before we can get started today. But that's fine. Anyways, so this is what I built. I have 4 satellites now. 4 of them. And each one is special. No, 1 and 2 only have 2 dishes, so they can only connect to 2 other things. 3 and 4 have 4 dishes, and they all connect to this satellite that's way up here. And it's on this crazy elliptical orbit. And I will explain. Okay, so the reason for this craziness is quite simple. Okay, remember how I explained the higher you are in orbit, the slower you're going? Well, anyways, we need a satellite that can communicate with other planets. Well, these satellites aren't going to be too good at it because they're just in a bad position and they need to communicate with other things, like other satellites and things. So, we launched one on a highly elliptical orbit. In fact, if I gave it maybe just a tiny bit more thrust, this thing would be going around the sun. It's just barely inside of Kerbin's orbit, or sphere of influence. So it goes incredibly slow when it's up here. Like, it's going, look at its velocity, 28 meters per second. That's like 50 miles per hour. Well, 60. That's incredibly slow. And then it goes really fast when it gets down here, so it's only down here for a tiny part of its orbit. So most of the time it's way up in this top half, and it can communicate with deep space things. It's great. And then these ones all communicate with the others. So yeah, you can see it's really cool. And there's 4 of them due to mistakes, and they weren't perfectly spaced. 4 just fixes all the issues. So yeah, that's great. Now anyways, I just discovered a few hours ago, actually less than an hour ago, that Remote Tech, the mod for the communications, has a time delay. Signals can only travel the speed of light, which is bad. I mean, it's realistic, but let me put it this way. In real life, you have teams of scientists that program the rockets and get it all perfect and everything, and program it to do whatever it needs to do. I have 1 brain and maybe 2 hours a day. That's not enough time to deal with a 5-minute time delay when I'm out at Duna. So just, no. I disabled it. I know it's cheaty, but you know what? It's just, whatever. At least I have the comm uplink. Anyways, this is my rocket. It was really big and overdone, but someone in the comments, I don't know if he wants me to say his name. You know who you are. He told me that having a ton of side boosters is kind of wasteful. And it's complicated. It's debatable. Sometimes they are useful and do add delta V, but other times they don't. So I thought I needed a huge rocket because this is a huge payload up here that's going to Duna. But he was right. I really didn't need the huge boosters. So I've got these small boosters on here, and it's great. It gets it to orbit. Well, this finishes it. It's a slightly bigger version of the upper stage that I have on the satellite launching one. So this will put it most of the way to orbit. This will put it in orbit and send it to Duna. And then this upper bit, it does the rest. So if we look here, I will save this, and then I'll start pulling pieces off. So after we're in space, these fairings jettison, leaving it like this. Okay? That's strange. Okay, in my test, these things fell off. I'm going to offset them inwards. I don't know. I'm just trying to get it so they don't break off. Anyways, that's weird. Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Yeah, breaking off is very bad. How far are these things? 40. And these ones are 60. I don't know. Anyways, I'll do edits off camera. I'm gonna do a little bit of off camera stuff. Anyways, so yeah. So this is the second stage. So all that. Oh wow. So this goes to the planet. And after mid-course corrections and all that craziness, this whole stage will run out of fuel. And it will detach right here. And that'll all fall away. This thing, it'll use its heat shield. It'll use the fairing as a heat shield. And it will go through the atmosphere of Duna to slow down. But it'll still stay in space. It's gonna take multiple tries, but I know I can eventually get it to where when it goes in the atmosphere, it'll bring it into orbit of Duna, but not down to the ground. And once we're back in space, we might need one more pass through the atmosphere, maybe not. But if we need to, we'll do one more pass. If not, whenever we're done with the atmosphere, we'll jettison this fairing. So we'll jettison that and decouple that. And it'll leave us with this. So we'll maneuver around Duna, and I have science specifically set up. So, we have 4 thermometers. 1 for an orbit around Duna, 1 for an orbit around Ike, 1 for the surface of Ike, and 1 for the atmosphere of Duna. Okay? Then, we have 1 barometer for atmospheric pressure. That's obviously for inside Duna's atmosphere. That's going to be a tricky one to get. And 1 accelerometer. That's for when we're landed on Ike. And then we have 1 materials bay, which we'll do when we're landed on Ike. And then in here, 3 mystery goo. 1 for orbiting Duna, 1 for orbiting Ike, 1 for landed on Ike. We're not going to worry about mystery goo while entering the atmosphere. That's just dangerous. Okay? So yeah. We will then land on Ike with this stage, and then it will... Now, we don't have a very good way of transmitting science, and we lose a ton of data if we transmit it. So my ultimate goal is to bring this back to Kerbal, which sounds crazy, but we can do it. So it won't take much fuel to steer around Duna and to land on Ike. That's small amounts of fuel. We'll probably have about half of this fuel left. So after we take off, we'll use this to send us back to Kerbal, and when we run out of fuel, we'll jettison it, and we will then use the RCS and its little bit of fuel to maneuver us the rest of the way back. And when we're really close to Kerbal, like about to enter its atmosphere, we'll jettison this bit, and that'll all go away. And then we have these tiny transmitters. They're not very long range, but they'll be fine. And we should be able to deploy the parachute. I need to check their range. 500 kilometers. Yeah, we're fine. That's definitely in range of our satellites. They're about 3 kilometers up. Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll just have to target this. But anyways, yeah. So that we'll have the control to land this. And this will land on Kerbal on its parachutes. It'll land pretty hard, but that's okay. And then we'll recover all the science data, so that's great. So this will come back, which is really cool. Anyways, don't save. We do not want to save that. That would be catastrophic. We go back to the Mars 1, and I'm then going to remove these because they're useless to me. And then, what are we going to do? Where is it? This. It breaks if we're in atmosphere, though, so we're going to have to be careful. But that's fine. And when I extend this... Okay. Cannot deploy while stowed. Fine. Anyways. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. So those will extend, and we'll use those. Yeah. Okay, I think that's everything. I'm going to pause the recording. We need to time accelerate maybe another 2 weeks or so that we're in a better position to go to Duna. So yeah, I will do that now, because we want to go to Duna. Alright, I'm back now. So, we have Duna where it needs to be, and that's about... what's that? Some kind of debris. What is that? Luna 5. Why is it... It must have gotten a gravity cyst from the moon and gotten flung out here. That's hilarious. How did that... I don't even know. Whatever. That's fine. Anyways, so now we have to go to Duna, which is cool. So we're going to click here on the launch pad. We're going to get... we don't even need Jebediah. We're going to take the... Where is it? Mars 1. I'm going to fly it. I've done a few test flights on it. So yeah. Now we're getting in here. So I hope a few of you checked out my Guns of Icarus series. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I put quite a bit of work into that. Well, not too much, but some. So please show it some support. That'd be nice. We want it to be daytime for the launch. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to, first of all, we're draining power just because reasons. We're going to go in here. I know this is crazy. No. And we want to control from here. And that's important later. Oh yeah. That guy in the comments, he was right about another thing. I needed that mod Kerbal joint reinforcement. I hated to admit it, but this rocket, it bends way too much. No amount of struts could get it to hold still. So it was completely necessary. So yeah. Anyways, hopefully we've got some good targets. I should probably switch to that and give it a... Well, I'll just activate the dish now. If it doesn't have the connection, it's fine. So we'll activate that, and we will target the ComSat D and get rid of that. Okay. Then we're going to throttle up the engines to about there. Enable the SAS. Okay. Re-enable the SAS. And engage. And here we go. So you guys can watch that. I need to pay attention. And dang, I forgot to add fins again. I keep forgetting to do that. This rocket doesn't need fins as badly as our communications satellite rocket did, but it needs them pretty badly. It does not fly terribly well. I mean, it's okay. It's acceptable. But it's hard. So yeah. Just trying to keep it straight here. While turning over slightly. Oh yeah, that's right. I throttled down the core engine during my test. There we go. Then we decouple the boosters. We slow down a little bit so that we can turn over better. Helps us turn. Yeah, we're going to let ourselves slow down just a tad. And we got to stay on the 90-degree line, because that's where Duna is. No, you don't. Rocket was trying to flip there. Just a little bit. It's not as violent at trying to murder itself as the ComSat rocket. That thing, it had a death wish. It was just trying to commit suicide over and over and over. It just wanted to die. This one, it's a little tricky and slippery, but it's not terrible. It's decent. It's pretty dark. Check our orbit. How does it look? It's looking pretty good. Oh, I've got to go. I've got to go eat dinner. I'll be back in a second. As soon as we can continue this launch now. There. So yeah, this rocket's being a little weird, but that's okay. I'm actually going to throttle up here, because I can. There we go. Now we're getting some real speed out of this. There. So yeah, we're really climbing now. So about that Guns of Icarus series, I hope you guys checked it out. I hope you enjoyed it. It's the kind of game that matches this genre pretty well. I'm actually going to have to remove it from this channel. I'll probably put out a video announcing that. But I'm now, like, I'm not officially partnered, but I'm pretty much partnered with another channel now, and they want those recordings. The friends that I played with, they want those to go on their channel, which is fine. So I'll probably put a link to that in the description of my next Guns of Icarus video, and the next Guns of Icarus video will be my last. If you want to see more of that, you're going to have to head to that other channel, which is fine. Alright, our orbit is now almost out of the atmosphere. Now we can just gain lateral speed, which is great. Yeah, we're going very fast now. This rocket is ridiculously powerful. I don't even need to throttle up because we're already pulling 2 Gs of acceleration at 2/3 throttle. So any more would just be overkill at this point. So we're just going to keep on accelerating. See, we're just pushing this farther and farther out. It's going up a little bit higher, but that's fine. I'm a little worried about our satellite uplink. I'm going to quick save. Is it? Okay. Now I'm quick saving. There we go. So yeah, we're soon going to be out of fuel on this. Going to throttle back and pitch down more. Just let it continue, and I'm going to throttle back even further. There. Nice gentle cutoff. So we're just going to coast like this for a little bit. Alright, we are now in space. So we will jettison those. And then we will decouple that, do that, do that, and that. Now we can continue forward. Good, no time delays. You don't know how nice that is. Okay, next, we are extending solar panels. We need to get into orbit. How far out are we? We still have plenty of time in communications uplink. So, yeah. We're just going to burn a little bit of fuel and get us away from here. We now have our solar panels open. This variety that I'm using here is slightly cheaper, but once they're deployed, they're deployed. They don't go away. So when we enter Duna's atmosphere, they will be destroyed. Assuming we haven't ejected this stage already, which we might do. It depends. So yeah, this stage will put us into orbit. That's fine though. It has plenty of fuel to do all the work. Or it should have plenty of fuel. From my past experience, I don't have much experience leaving the Kerbal system, but it should work. Should work just fine. But then again, that's a should. And we all know how shoulds work on this channel. A should is a debate, is a gamble. Because there's a good chance something should happen, but it doesn't. At least on this channel anyways. Because that's just my fortune. I am so bad at having things happen that should not happen in my calculations. Alright, we've cut off the engines. We're going to boost that orbit up a little bit with the RCS. Not too far though. And we will cut off. Okay. We are almost out of comms range, so I'm going to quick save. Then I'm going to switch to our deep space one, and we're going to target this with one of its antennas. Okay, where is it? That's operational. Unknown target. Yep, that's the only one. It says unknown because I was using it for my tests. And because those rockets have been deleted, it's confused, and it's a long story. Alright. And now we have to focus our view back on Kerbal. This is tricky. We're looking at Kerbal in a weird way. Okay. Now we're going to switch back to this, the Mars 1. It now has a nice, strong uplink with one of its dishes. And how's it doing on electric charge? Just fine. Great. And nothing broke. Last time I switched, these panels broke off. I just want to see how this thing looks when it's activated. No clipping. Wonderful. Gonna close it though. We don't need it right now. Alright. Now we have to make a maneuver to go to Duna. That's dull and boring, and you don't want to see that. So I'm gonna make a maneuver node and spend probably a lot of time tweaking it. I'll be right back. From your point of view, it'll probably take me a long time. You see that? That's a maneuver. And it is going to take us 17 million meters away from Duna's surface. That's great. So we will turn to point towards that. Because we want to go that high. Because, yeah. Let's go to space. No, we're going to another planet. We're going to make a ton of money. This rocket cost me... It is my most expensive rocket. Even though I trimmed it down a lot, it's still very expensive. I think it was like $138,000. Which in real life is great, but Kerbal dollars have a higher value than US dollars, in my opinion. I think. It should. In real life, it costs millions of US dollars to launch a rocket. In this game, it takes a few thousand. So, I'm sure it's just a... It'd be really interesting if we calculated the exchange rate. I'm sure we could. That'd be interesting. Be very interesting. But I don't have time for that. Do not. So yeah. Alright, we now have it pointed the correct direction. We don't have a capsule to go into to, you know, get it fine-tuned perfectly. So but that's okay. Now, I'm actually slightly concerned. This satellite, it's at a weird angle. I don't know if we're going to have an uplink when we do our burn. We should. But then again, shoulds. Don't know. I'm going to quick save. Because I can quick load if it does not work. No, we're keeping uplink. That's fine. Yeah. As always, my worries need not apply. So we're not in the perfect position to go to Duna, but it's close enough. We'll be okay. We'll waste a tiny bit of fuel. But yeah. Oh, that's not too long a burn, actually. Estimates about 1 minute 19 seconds. So we will get much closer. Much closer. Okay. That looks good. You can see that little message appearing. That's for the joint reinforcement mod that I got. Thanks for the suggestion. I did need it. I said I didn't in the comments, but I was wrong. So, if you guys want to meet Yuzochi in person, well, not in person, but in that Guns Vickers video that I've been talking about, he was there for real. Like, he was there to talk to me. I said in the opening of the video that he was there to abuse me in person instead of in the comments. It's really funny. No, he doesn't abuse me. I just pretend. We both just pretend. It's funny. It really is. He's like that in person, too. Or at least to me. It's really funny. So, yeah. If you want to meet Yuzochi, watch that video. It's funny. Like, you will enjoy that. Or you should enjoy that. Alright, we are really going here. But this is a long burn. It's like 1 minute. So we can watch the rocket, because rockets are cool. Yeah. Using that RCS helps cut down on weight, because RCS fuel weighs a little bit. So that's always nice, that we can cut back on that. I'm so glad I got rid of that time delay. It was annoying. Like, even in orbit, there's a 2-second time delay. The Soviets, they had a rocket where they had to deal with a 2-second time delay all the time. Like, they just recently... not the Soviets, they're not that anymore. They're Russia now. Yeah, they had a rocket that had a 2-second time delay. And they had to dock it to the space station. You guys saw how hard docking was. Imagine doing that with a 2-second time delay. It's not easy. It's not easy. It is hard. And very annoying. Very, very annoying. 10 seconds away. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At this point, just going to use the RCS gently. So I'm going to fine-tune this. It will, okay. Yes. And we're 19. Can we get it closer? Don't want to be greedy though. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Okay. That's where we're pushing it a little bit. Well, no, we can get a little bit closer. Let's get down to... Well, we can do a course correction. That's really good. We will hit Duna's sphere of influence with this satellite, which is great. So let's time accelerate today. Why are the brakes on? That's weird. Okay, whatever. It loses a lot of power at night. Is it gonna come in the day soon? There we go. I'm going to turn it towards like the north and south vectors. That'll help it stay in the sun with its solar panels. It's only currently using one of its dishes, but it does drain quickly. It is recharging though. I thought I didn't quite have enough batteries. I think I'm okay though. I think I'm alright. Okay, we have that set. Okay. So I'm going to save that. And we are now on our way to Duna. So this rocket will just go there. It won't do much else. I'm going to let the solar panels recharge. And then I'm going to put an emergency reserve on them. And that'll keep us safe. From, like that's in case we run out of electricity. We can re-enable the battery and still be alive. So let's see. We want just a small one. That's all that's necessary. Well, we can do a big one. Never hurts. Where is it? There we go. There. 200 units of electric charge saved as a reserve just in case of emergency. I think that's good. So I think that's going to do it for this episode. I'm about out of time. We could start something else, but it's just too close to the end, and I'm pretty pressed for time. I will probably do a Guns of Icarus episode tomorrow, or Wednesday, I don't know. So anyways, check out my other channel when it's ready. It's not ready yet, but it will be in a matter of days. I'll put the link to it in my next video's description. It's not necessary in this one because it doesn't exist yet. So yeah, look forward to that. Look forward to seeing Sochi as he is in person, and I'll see you next episode. We have great plans, and I think the Kerbals in my world will be going to some great places. Alright, that'll be next episode. I'll see you then. Better be back here. Bye.